Welcome to Flipping the Classroom, New Perspectives in Teaching and Learning. My name is Jeffrey Ryman, and I'm from the Center for Excellence in Teaching.
And my name is Jose Diaz, and I'm from the Online Learning Department.
And Jose and I are actually sharing a play date with you because this is the way Jose and I like to work together. And flipping the classroom is a very important topic, not only because of what we went through with teaching and learning remotely during the pandemic, but now it has probably changed the way you're going to teach even in face-to-face classes, right, Jose?
Yeah, definitely, Jeffrey. I mean, the curveball that we've been thrown at with this pandemic, we've seen from issues like from equity gap, students having issues with the Wi-Fi, and I know teachers as well had similar issues, and we've experienced new challenges along the way.
Right. And I think that also, to my experience, a lot of people were surprised at the quality of the work they got from the students, but that also it took more planning and organization to do it. So now we have two classrooms. The classroom, the traditional model, which even though the classroom we're looking at looks like it's from the 1930s, our actual classrooms don't look that much better, right? With the tables and the chairs all lined up and organized. But there's no hole for the inkwell. So the classroom that we're dealing with, though, looks more like this. And now our goal is to be able to work in that modality as well as in the classroom. And that's what we're going to look at now. Now, I know many of you would love to get full compliance if everybody's showing their video when you work remotely. That's always a challenge, but it starts with day one, class one, where you can remind students when you're doing synchronous online work that they need to see each other as much as you need to see them. And that because they don't always have the social experience of walking in and out of a classroom together, it's important to be visible and to be active. So many of us who are teaching for many years have had to battle this. A, a very carefully prepared PowerPoint, the word, the projector in the darkened room, and then blah, 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 blah. And Jose and I have talked about this a lot because then when people make videos, they also will make a 30 or 40-minute video with lots of blah, blah, blah. So it's not just about flipping the classroom, it's about how we deliver content. Right, Jose? And keeping that engaging is not only about the technology, it's also, that was weird. It's also about the strategy and the two work together, right, Jose?
Definitely.
Jose and I were laughing at this slide recently because this is probably the real truth behind the darkened screens.
Yeah, I mean, I know we've all experienced one of these, either have students watching Netflix while you're lecturing away or distracted by kids who are running in the background. And so, these are issues that we all have now learned to overcome during this pandemic and teaching remotely. And so, like Jeffrey mentioned, having students turn on their webcams, are they actually paying attention or what are they doing? Is it your grandma who's watching the video and, and you can't see them from the other end. So these are issues that we now have to get used to. And with the flipped classroom approach that we're going to talk about today, Jeffrey and I, we'll try to talk about how to take the flipped classroom approach to correct some of these problems.
Yeah, because in the flipped classroom, it's not just about whether or not you're using a synchronous session for any particular reason, but we are addressing the potential that at FIT in the fall, we may need to have students synchronously participate via a WebEx-like tool or Zoom while we're actually teaching in the classroom. So normally in a flipped classroom, we wouldn't be talking about anything synchronous, But by having a synchronous component to this discussion, it takes all the possibilities into play. And Lord knows, nobody really knows what's going to happen as we're sitting here. Today is May 21st. Nobody knows what August and September are going to look like. So we're trying to cover all the bases. I will say one thing though, no matter how you teach, the students who are still sleeping or watching Netflix or turn their video off, the evidence ultimately is not your ability to get them to turn on the camera. It's for you to hold them accountable for the work that they're supposed to be doing. So there are some people, particularly students in other time zones where it's 6 o'clock or 5 o'clock in the morning, they just don't want to be seen when what they look like when they're still in bed in their PJs. So we have to be careful that we don't force an issue that could actually provoke embarrassment and resentment.